Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I thought I would just do a super quick video giving you guys an idea of our homeschool routine for the 2025-2026 school year. If you are new here, I am a homeschool mom to 4 kids ages 16, 8, 6, and almost 4. She'll be 4 in a couple weeks. My little ballerina over there is doing some coloring while I film this. We are actually about to... Okay, please don't talk or you're going to be kicked out. We are actually about to head to her dance class. She's loving dance and it's so adorable. We love it. But anyway, so I wanted to just quickly film this video for you guys while it was on my mind because I was just thinking about routines and how unique they are for each individual homeschool family. And so I just wanted to encourage you guys, let you know my routine just to give you an idea of how things can look. But I also want to encourage you that your routine needs to just work for you and your family, and it's going to be different than mine. It's 100% going to be different than mine. It's 100% going to be different than those super aesthetic homeschool channels or homeschool pages on Instagram, you know, those reels and everything. It's going to be different. It's going to be unique to you, your own family, like maybe if you work or if you don't, if you're like dependent on your husband's job and his schedule, depending on your kids, their ages, how old they are, depending on your personality. Okay, please don't do that. Just color. Depending on your personality first and foremost. So anyway, for me and my personality, I would say I have a routine because if I have no routine or no idea whatsoever of what we're doing, then things can just fall through the cracks and we don't get everything done. So I definitely have to have some sort of routine, but I also am a very like free spirit, spontaneous type person. That's more my personality. So I can't, no matter how hard I try, because I really do try, I can't fully put myself in a box. I have to give myself freedom within our routine, if that makes sense. So that's what I try to do for my personality. Like I said, I've said this many times on my channel, I'm not a super organized person. It doesn't come naturally to me. Like you guys probably see a big mess, like some math with confidence curriculum I need to sell, and just things in the background of my videos. I'm just not naturally clean and organized, but I do try because I believe it can help and it can make a big difference in just the flow of things. And so I do my absolute best while at the same time still staying true to my fun and spontaneous nature, because I think that that is what makes me unique as my kids' mom and their homeschool teacher. So I don't have a ton of time to make this video, so that will keep me from, you know, chatting on and on. But as for our routine, I did want to say off the bat, I don't have like specific weeks that we do school. I don't have a specific start day. I don't have like, okay, after this much time, we're going to take 1 week off. And then after this much time, we're going to take 2 weeks off and so on. I never have, and I don't think I ever will, just because I feel like life happens. And so I like to give myself grace and room for that. My goal is to be doing school. I like to take summer off mostly because we have BBS, we have like time we spend with friends and family, we go to the pool a ton. We don't have our own pool, so we go to our neighborhood pool as much as we can while it's open. It's sadly closed now. So we have swim lessons, we have stuff we do in the summer. So we do take a good chunk of time off in the summer. But I don't have like a certain date that I start school back up. I kind of just see how I feel. This year I tried to start for like a while, for a few weeks. We would kind of start and stop. And I think that's partly because I'm still learning and growing as a homeschool mom and seeing what's gonna work. But we started, okay, now do all of these a different color. But we started the school year, we're going on week 3 right now. We're on week 3 right now. So, and it is August 26th. Okay. So we are going on week 3 of school. And so we usually start sometime in August. We just had classical conversations, which I do want to update you guys on. Our first like ever official, we visited some communities, but our first official community day with classical conversations was yesterday, which was amazing. So we have that once a week now, and that just started. But for us, as far as how we do classical conversations, we're not just going to do our schoolwork only when classical conversations is in session. That's just when we're doing that specific work, if that makes sense. So we've been doing school for a little bit, and then now we've started with our classical conversations community days once a week, like I said. So I don't want to say specific dates of like when we do things, just because I think that'd be weird to put on the internet. But basically once a week we have our community day. And for my little ones, it's only a half day. And so far what I have seen is that I can still work at least with my two youngest, because their stuff is pretty quick. We can still do their school when we get back from community day, like after lunch and after they've had a little break. That's what we did, and that was fine. So I think we'll still do that. My oldest, who's 16, it's an all-day thing for him. So when he gets back, he's done for the day. But my little ones are still in keep going. My little ones are still in foundations, so I will try to get them to do a little bit of work after that. And then the rest of the days of the week, the other 4 days in the week, we don't have a specific time that we start our school day. I aim for like 8:30. That's like my aim. And we start at breakfast. So it's basically like the very beginning of the kids' day. They, you know, once they're finally like up and moving about, they have breakfast while we do our morning time. I do my workout, my incline walk, my 30-minute, 12 incline, 3-speed walk in the mornings. So it really depends on when I get myself up out of bed and get that walk in. And then right after I finish that, I get into making them breakfast and we sit down. So that's usually around 8 or 8:30. Today we started a little bit later, probably like closer to 9. And I think that's because I was tired from our first ever day at community day at CC. It's a lot of fun and it's very efficient, but also very tiring. So since I was super tired from that, I let myself kind of rest for a minute. I was awake, but just kind of like laying in bed. I don't know, I was tired. But I got up, did my workout, we do our school, or our morning time. So that's when we do like Bible, history, science. Today, we always do Bible. We rotate with history and science. So this is another thing, right? Like I see some people that just have set in stone what they do. Like twice a week we do science, twice a week we do history. So I thought I was gonna do that. That's too constricting for me. I like to be free. I like to have options, especially during our precious morning time. I feel like that's when I can be the most creative and have the most fun with their school. So it depends kind of on what I'm feeling. Sometimes the night before I prepare some stuff. Like last night I made some copies of the French flag and like the shape of France for them to color and cut out and put in their history journals that they're working on through Beautiful Feet. So we did that, learned a little bit more about France. We sang some of our CC songs. We sang the continent song and the ocean song, some of my favorite stuff. I shouldn't go too far into our morning time because this is just a routine video. This is what I do. I could just talk on and on about homeschool. But anyway, so usually that is around an hour, I would say. It depends. My little ones, this is with my 3 little ones. My oldest is doing chores and doing his individual work and all that. I've been having him do his reading on the living room couch so that I can see him and make sure he's actually reading. But his online stuff, I'll allow him to do in his room because I can check and see if he's done that. But reading, I'm never too sure, so I like to see him do it. But anyway, so that's what he's up to. He's kind of doing his own thing. And that's just kind of what works for our family. But while I'm with my little ones, they really can only stay at the table for about an hour, maybe 45 minutes. I really need to time it so I can let you guys know like an exact time. I'm not sure, but we do a good amount of stuff. Lots of coloring, art, cutting, pasting, learning about history and science. And I like to just be kind of free and like, I may have one plan and then we kind of derail and go on a different plan. Or I decide I want to read a random different book or different reader out loud that I wasn't planning on reading. Shh. Like I just like to have free space. So that our morning time is kind of like our free space that has a little bit of structure with some of the curriculum I've chosen and our Bible and everything like that. They eat their breakfast during that time, and then after that is when we go into our individual subjects. Now sometimes they want a little bit of a break, they want to play. A lot of times they want to go ahead and get started with their individual subjects because they want to get them done. So they'll be like, can we get started? Can we do our individual subjects? So I'll be like, okay. So usually my 8-year-old will run and come do his handwriting and his spelling, you see, like right away, because he can do that on his own. So far, that's really the only like independent work I have for him. But I do want to add in, you know, a couple other things I think for him. But yeah, so he'll do that. And what I have found this year that has worked with having 3 little ones, we are doing the good and the beautiful. I've shared about that. Watch my videos on the good and the beautiful. I've gone back and forth because it seems so hyped. It just works, guys. It works for families with multiple kids. It just works so well compared to most curriculums. So what I have been doing is I will start with her, and I will have my oldest doing his individual work, and then my middle child, who's 6, will do like Legos. I have like stations. So we have toys, which I did like a Lakeshore Learning Hall. So I have toys in here for them to play, blocks, things like that. I have a Lego station that I've recently set up, and I'm still kind of working on that. I have a Play-Doh station. So I have different different stations for them to do when I'm not working with them individually. So he'll do that while I work with her, which hers takes the least amount of time, much to her chagrin. Is that the right word? Because she wants to do school all day. And then after I work with her, I will go and work with my 8-year-old usually. So this is usually how it's worked out. I'll work with my 8-year-old, will do his stuff, and then he does have for his, with the good and the beautiful, for his English and math, there is a little bit of individual work. So I will save that. And once I'm done working with him, I will have him do his individual work while I then work with my 6-year-old doing his stuff, which doesn't take a super long time either. My 6-year-old and my almost 4-year-old, it's pretty quick, but my 8-year-old who's in 3rd grade, it takes a lot longer with him. So that's usually how it goes. Today, actually though, I started with her because she just like insists and wants to, but then I ended up, I set up Jack with my 6-year-old with the Lego station. Well, then my 8-year-old sees how much fun he's having and he wanted to play. So then they just kind of played together while I worked with her. And then I ended up working with my 6-year-old next because he asked to. And so then my 8-year-old just kind of played with her when she was done. And that goes well sometimes, sometimes not. They usually get along. It's like my 8-year-old and my 6-year-old are usually the ones who butt heads. My 8-year-old and almost 4-year-old usually do pretty well together. They did kind of fight today though, and were being crazy, and I had to get on to them a little bit. But anyway, so I worked with my 6-year-old, and then lastly, I worked with my 8-year-old who takes the longest. So that's our individual subject time, and then after that, we have lots of activities that we do. So one day a week, we go to a park day through our homeschool group, and it switches parks. And so we go there once we get all our morning time and our individual subjects done. I like to get most of it done before we leave, because once we get home, we're tired. If I can't, I have learned to be like, all right, we're just gonna have to get back to this when we get home. And that's just what's gonna happen. And so once a week, we'll go to park day. Once a week, she has dance, but that's in the afternoons. I have learned park day is a little bit earlier in the day than I would like, but we can usually, we bring our lunch with us. And so like normally after individual subjects, if we don't have anywhere to go right away, we would have lunch. And they're eating snacks and stuff while I'm teaching them, of course. But we normally would do lunch, but if we're rushing to park day, we'll bring like a packed lunch to the park, and they'll just eat and stuff while we're there. We spend a good chunk of time there. I really like to get them outside, even in this heat. We have done park day even in the summer, and you go earlier in the day, and we just deal with it.
Hey, Mama, look.
Oh, okay, do these letters. We're almost done, so we gotta go. Okay, so I have got to finish this video up. We're almost done, so paint these letters, and we gotta go. Okay, I've got to finish this because we've got to go. So lastly, we do our activities. So like once a week she has dance, once a week we have chess club, once a week the kids have piano lessons, my 2 little boys, my 8 and 6-year-old, and she just comes along for the ride. We are starting gymnastics up again, which I'm really excited about. So once a week, all 3 little ones will have gymnastics. There's also open gym and stuff, but I'm not sure how that's gonna work yet because we just joined back and we joined a different class. So we'll see how that goes, but we have that. Soccer will be starting up soon, and so we will have soccer practice and then games on the weekends. So we're very busy with our activities in the afternoons, so I really try to keep our work for the morning and before lunch. But there are times, especially with my third grader, where we just end up having to do something in the afternoon. Something else I try to do is like they need to practice their piano and their chess. So I have checklists for that, which I haven't implemented yet this year because not as many of our activities had started back up yet. Like chess doesn't start, well, it started last week, but that one like doesn't count. But doesn't really start up till this week. So I'm gonna implement our checklists again. And so once I'm done with their individual stuff, I'll be like, hey, you need to practice chess, check it off. Practice piano, check it off, that kind of thing. So that is our routine. I hope I didn't miss anything. I'm kind of rushing because we have to go to her dance class and there's traffic. So anyway, I hope that this video was informative or helpful in some way, just to give you kind of an idea of how I do it. But just remember, there's a lot of freedom in this. You just have to figure out what works for you. Like for me, we had some activities last school year, like in the mornings. We would never get school done. We need to have like a focused time. Even if we don't get to everything, we get to most things during our focused morning time, and then activities in the afternoon, and maybe we come home and like do a little bit of reading or something like that. So anyway, that is our homeschool routine for the school year. And like I said, with breaks, I just kind of go with the flow and see when we need a break. Christmas time, we usually take a longer break. Summer, we take a good chunk off, but the rest of the school year, we're mostly doing school.
Okay, Mom, I'm done.
Oh, I love it. All right, we gotta go dance. And then also my oldest, he works out with his dad 3 days a week. So that's something he does. He does chess club with us. He's so good. You wanna show them?
I've been really strong.
She's very strong, and look at her picture.
I can see.
Oh, pretty. Okay, we're going to dance. Say bye. Say please subscribe.
Please bye, baby food.
Give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.
You're watching. Bye.
Share the love and peace.